Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on how to play as the unplayable characters in Soul Calibur 3. As always, I'd recommend going back and watching the very first video that I made on the basics of boss hacking. It's not necessary, but it will give you a basis on how this works and help you out if you want to do any future hacking. As always, you will need three things for this hacking process. You'll need the game itself open and running the game that you want to hack. You will need a hacking program such as Cheat Engine and Art Money. I'm using Art Money here. And with this program, also make sure to select the process itself, which in this case is the emulator I'm using, PCSX2. And also, in this case, not in every case, but in the case for this game, you will need a list of character values to search for, because you wouldn't know the character values to search for otherwise. I'll of course list these in the description. If you want a little more explanation as to why the character values are all over the place for Soul Calibur 3, I'd recommend going back and watching my Soul Calibur 2 video in regards to Hacking Inferno. Basically put, I don't fully know why it's this way. Namco has very weird programming where sometimes they'll just have gaps for some reason with character values and there's just no data there. Possibly there might be if you data mine the game, but I have no clue in regards to that. So I couldn't give any confirmation in regards to that. Now, hacking Soul Calibur 3 is as simple as hacking Soul Calibur 2. The reason for this mainly is the fact that you can not only hack on the character selection screen, but you can actually see the character that you've picked, so you can see the character model. And that means that if you're able to hack a later character, or able to hack an unplayable character, you'll actually see them, it'll come up, and it will confirm that you've been able to access and use them. So, just as with Soul Calibur 2, it's not quite the same values, but the ones that we're going to use in order to find the character address, or addresses, are pretty much the same, so it's a very similar process. Let's start with Taki in this case. And initially you always search, and then you subsequently filter for all the values afterwards. As I mentioned back in the Soul Calibur 2 video, change the address range to all, otherwise it won't find the address. Not too sure why it's the case, but that's just how it is, basically. Taki's value is 3 as it is here, so search. Then highlight somebody else. So let's go for Sophitia, if she's here. No, you have to unlock her, don't you? Okay, let's go for Voldo. Voldo's value is 5, so let's just filter for 5. Do a couple more filters, just narrow it down a bit more. Let's go to Mitsurugi. And filter for 1. Let's go to Maxi. Wherever he is, there he is. And his value is 4, so we'll filter for 4. Seems to be as good as it's going to be. Now, I'll list these of course in the description, but there's sort of all the unplayable characters from value 39 onwards. You can't access every one of them. For some reason, some of them can only be accessed via action replay codes, and that's usually in the European version of the game as well. No clue why this is, but as I've said previously, Namco's programming is just batshit. It makes no sense compared to basically any other gaming series I've looked at. But whatever. We can still access the majority of the unplayable elements in this game, and that's all that really matters. So let's take one of these values. Sometimes when you have a whole bunch of addresses, you just have to sort of mess around with them and see which one works for which. So let's do that there. Freeze that in place, and yeah, you can see that's Night Terror. So value 39 is Night Terror, and Night Terror has, of course, come up here. Nice. And that means you now have the address, and the great thing about that is that you can modify that to select whoever you want it to, basically. So let's go back into Soul Arena. And now this address here, as long as it's freeze in place, means that we can access whoever we want to. So if I put in 40, then Charade comes up. Put in 43, and I get... should do. Oh yeah. Make sure to press enter. And I get Will o' the Wisp. Put in 49. And I get Colossus, if it doesn't crash the game anyway. Sometimes Colossus will crash the game, sometimes he doesn't. In this case he did, but I do actually have a video of playing as him on my main channel if you want to see that, and I can assure you that sometimes it does actually work. That is, however, how to play as the unplayable characters in Soul Calibur 3. It's that simple. It's wonderfully simple, especially compared to most of the other games made by Namco. As always, any queries or questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.